Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be going over how the CAD works along with a few other uh, tips and tricks within the Discord, along with how Discord works for Villains RP roleplay for the California Highway Patrol. Understand today's video is going to teach you the fundamentals of our CAD and explain everything in detail how our CAD works and how it'll implement and be implemented in game, along with setting up your location definer or location indicators that you can always be located by via dispatch. But today I'm going to show you how you do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into our Discord, which will be right here. You're going to go into our Discord. You're going to find obviously the main role-playing site, Villains RP. You're going to do your application. You get past your application. You go to California Highway Patrol. You're in California Highway Patrol. Where do I go from here? Here's where you go. You go to Important Links, and then you have all this here. What I recommend before you start CAD is read this. This is an important document. I will go over it once we can on proper RTO procedures and explaining it in very amounts of detail, along with explaining explaining our trooper education and our VRP roster. This will all be in another video. But today's video, last video that I made was for CHP IA. I recommend you look at it. I know it's a little long, but it does explain everything you need to know, game fundamentals, the basics of California Highway Patrol. So you're going to go to Villains RP. As you can tell, I'm right here. I'm going to go ahead and get out of that. You're going to go to Important Links. You're going to look for where it says CAD MDT. So CAD stands for Computer Aid Dispatch or Mobile Data Terminal, which is also the MDT link. So here, this will send you to the CAD. Now, obviously, I already have it pulled up. So once you click on it, you'll see how to get Civ in CAD. You're just going to do VRP. If you're already a Civ, you already know how to do that. If you're joining LAPD, you already got that. So we should be good from there. So you go here, and it'll bring up all this fun things. And it'll start off here, where if you're here, obviously if you're a civilian, you already made a CAD. You don't need to worry about that. So you're going to click on here. Alright, you're going to notice when you join your CAD, police and dispatch are not going to be here. You need to make a request. In order to make a request, and I promise you I can make this easy for you, you're going to go down to the bottom, right? Excuse me. In the California Highway Patrol, you're going to go to support, not there. Where's the tickets? You're going to find where it says tickets, right? And put in a submission for a ticket. Let me find it real quick. I'm just making sure I caught it. Need support, my bad. You're going to click here. What will happen is you'll be sent to a support ticket, and all you're going to type in is there, I need access to CAD, and put your call sign in there. Or, if that's the fastest way, or CAD username. So go ahead and put your name, what your name is, and then put your call sign, and then enter. Then one of our fine 05s will go ahead and look at it, and then they'll get you approved or not. Role request works the same way. Again, we'll explain all that in this further video once we get into it. Alright, once you've done that, you're going to notice after you're approved, someone's going to DM you, or you're going to get a mission, or you'll get a permission key. You're gonna notice police and dispatch is here. Now, dispatch you're not gonna know much about. I'll explain that one as well in this video. This is more for the dispatching departments and dispatching overall if you want to just go dispatcher, but we can explain that in more detail. So you go to police, okay? As soon as you roll in, you're gonna notice a few things. Now, you're gonna see this. The first thing I want to start off with is the most important part is right here, the LT Rust right here, this right here. So this here will not be filled in for you. It'll say username not set, username not set, username not set. So what you want to do from here, you want to put in the call sign that you have, which mine was 2King29. Okay, you want to put your name, whatever your name is for this for California Highway Patrol. You want to put your rank. Obviously, I'm a lieutenant, so I put the rank LT or lieutenant. Try to spell it out if can. Your status, obviously, you're not on site and you're not doing anything, so unavailable. Your location, this will come into play in just a few minutes. I'll explain how. Your area of play, statewide. You can change it if you'd like, but most of the time just keep it statewide. That's all we do most of the time. LA County is what you are. You're going to go to your department, CHP, and if you have a subdivision, if there was one that you're assigned to, you will assign it here and click save. Then this will update here. your Lieutenant Russell 2 King 29 CHP statewide, all your information. Okay, that's the fundamentals. We're going to go from left to right, and I'm going to explain it. Here is your military time and the date along with the day. So remember that, the military time, date, and time. Okay. Up here, we're going to go over this a little bit. Is all of your little tutorials. This will explain everything, how to use Sonora CAD. If you ever want to go into more detail, please look at that, but I'm going to explain it in full detail. Your accounts, your ID, your Sonora, and their little Facebook stuff and all that. And then their Switch account, communities, log out, downloads, all that. But the most important one is right here where it says settings. Oop, click the wrong one. You want to click settings, okay? So click on settings. You're gonna notice you're gonna notice volume, help improve the translation to English. Obviously, if you want to change this English to Spanish to whatever, right there. But this is most important right here, the API. API is very important. In order for your address to always update up here in the, as you can see up here, to get that to always update and be updated every second, you're gonna need to add your ID or your Steam ID. Now let me explain how you're going to do this. What you're going to do is you're going to log up Steam, like I have here. You're going to show up at the store, right? Or not the store. You're going to show up yeah, well, I mean, you'll be at your library or whatever. You'll go to your account. You can go to library. I think it even works at the store too. There's this ID right here. If you see it, grab that ID, copy it, go over, look up Steam ID. I'll put this link in the description. Find steamid.com. Put this in, look it up. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Account create, when the account was created, your real name. Obviously, there's my real name, so everyone can feel better about themselves. And this is what you need right here. Steam ID hex. That's what you need, okay? So you want to copy that. So you got that. You want to sugar on down back to where you were. Change the ID. Obviously, there wouldn't be anything there. You want to put that there. And then you want to click save. Now that it's done, it'll say successfully updated. What you'll do from here now is this will always be updated from when you get off to when you get back on. It'll always update in the CAD, and I'll show you how that's important. Hotkeys, if you ever want to use your hotkey, alt prefix, stuff like that, panic button, lookup, record, busy, unavailable, available, en route, on scene, stuff like that. That's all there. If you want to change it, go for it. It allows you to change everything, okay? Alright, now that that's done, we're going to go right over here. Your username will pop up here like mine does. Your game, or whatever you put your user as, so it'll pop up there. Now here, you're obviously in server 1. If we had other servers, and when that comes down the road, you'll change that. So, the following buttons here are more important to law enforcement than anything, so I'm going to explain all the buttons here. But first, self-dispatch. This one right here. This is the self-dispatch is basically saying that there is no dispatcher. You're gonna do the dispatching yourself. So there you go. So self-dispatch, switch it over. There you go. Now you're in self-dispatch, and you can clear and create calls. All that I'll explain. Always when you get on, change this. Make sure your IP's in. If it's already done, don't worry about it. You only have to do it once. It won't matter after that. Only have to do this once. It'll always save. And then all you got to do every time you log in is click self-dispatch, and you're already on it. So here's what you're gonna do. I'm going to explain what codes these are, and I'm going to explain how they are effective in game. Unavailable. So this means 10/7, 10/42. Okay? This means that you are not able to get on. You're off the game. You're off. You're not doing anything. Okay? You're not in game. You can't be in game, or you're not in game, or you code 0, one of the two. Busy means 10/6. You could be parked up at the station 10/6. You could be eating 10/6. You could be, remember 10/6 is a 5-minute thing. Don't be more than 5 minutes. Don't be less than 5 minutes. If you're going more than 5 minutes, you need to do unavailable. Okay? Click on them, and they will allow you to activate those. And I'll show you how that's important. All right. So then you got available, which means you're going 10/41, 10/8, which I think everybody knows what that means. You're going to go on duty. Now, let's say you get someone say, I need an additional 1032 to my postal 10. I need an additional 1032 to Sonora Freeway 3048 at this time. You say 2 King, like me, 2 King 29, show me en route prior to code 3 or code 2. Alright, so I'll put en route. Now I'm en route. The colors will change based off the things up here. Let me show you how this is important. So if you go to active units and I click statuses and fixes, it shows you there. So if I continue to do it, watch. If I click on scene, this will change in a minute, but it'll show me on scene, or it'll show me en route. You see what I mean? This is every officer from yellow up that's online. Everybody's red is offline. Okay? Unavailable. If I want to set myself unavailable, I'll be sent to the bottom of the list now. And then if I set myself available, I'll be in between the greens. Okay? Alright, and there I am. Sonora, and this is, remember how I told you about location? This is where your location comes into play. Dispatch will see this number right here, where you're located at nearest postal. If you hit your panic button, which I'll explain in a minute, I'll show you what it does. Alright, so let's go from here. So on scene is 1023, en route is 1097, okay? On scene 1023, en route 1097. So let's go over it. 10:6, 10:41, 10:8, 10:42, 10:7, excuse me, 10:6, 10:42, 10:7, 10:41, 10:8, 10:97, 10:23, which means arrived on scene. And when you arrive on scene, you're supposed to say I arrive on scene, show to King 29, 10:23 at the latest, 10:32 request nearest postal 3048 Sonora Freeway. That's what you do from there. Then you got a few little buttons down here, and I'm going to put this away so I can show it. You got lookup. Now everybody's going to know what this does. Alright, so let me go over name search. So let's say you do a 1029, or 1027, excuse me. 1027 is a name lookup. If dispatch is on, you're going to say, dispatch, I need 1027 when ready. And dispatch will give you, say, to King 29, I need a 1027 when available. Okay? And then dispatch will say, go ahead. Can I get a 1027 on a John Doe? And then you can either do phonotypic alphabet or say common spelling. So we do John, right, Doe. Don't make sure there's no spaces. Everything's going to be caps, so don't worry. And you get a name, right? So when you get a name, you'll pop up with this. When you do, it'll tell you everything about him. 60th Street, 3400 is where he lives. John Doe, age, date, male, eyes, everything. It'll teach you everything, alright? He has a record. General citations. He does have his license plate, apparently is new. But driving without a vehicle insurance and then driving without a registration. Status is closed, which means this issue has now been done to void. It's already been handled with. Alright. And you can obviously look at the report, so license plate number. And you'll hear stuff that comes over like that. Incoming 911 calls. That I'll explain where that comes into play too. So we look up John Doe, alright, we look it up, and then if you click on it, it'll show you vehicle information, charges that he got, and it even stated right here. Narrative, state, closed, Alex B, new field number. It's the one that signed it. It'll also tell you the infraction, how much it was, infraction. Please make sure that you do fill out your charges once you file some of the charges, okay? That's the important part. Even if you got to write it down on a piece of paper like I do and wait until the end of your shift and then write it in, please do it. If you get a plate number, let's say it's something stupid, you're not going to, obviously that's not going to show up, but I mean, like if you did, you want to go ahead and run that. Let me close that real quick. Alright, so you look at plate. Let's say you're searching up a plate doesn't come back. If the plate does not come back that's on the plate that's there, it's stolen. Okay? The new things is it's stolen. Now you can obviously get these up. These are fire records, law reports. This is telling you if someone had a name like John Doe. If I did John Doe or did someone and flags pop up, that means there's an issue. Records will do the same, civilian will do the same, reports will do the same. Everything's in there. Identifier. Now this is the fun one. Everybody's in Los Angeles County. Now remember how I told you to put all this in? This is where this comes into play. So you go to CHP Los Angeles County, and let's say we find my number, right? Let me find it, 29. If I can find it. To King 29. I think it's at the bottom. No, where are you at? I don't want to show anybody's records. I want to just show mine so that I have a... There it is. So you got mine. And you search it. Alright? One report comes back. Incident report, John Doe. I was just looking at that. I'm just happen to be looking at it, okay? Let's remove the record because I obviously am not going to write someone up for something they didn't do. This can show you everything in their department. It'll tell you the civilian, it'll tell you the records, it'll tell you the reports, okay? record ID. If they had an ID, then we could search it up. But obviously, they don't have an ID, so we're going to continue as follow. But name search, first name, last name, middle name, makes it easier to search. Plate search, look up their whole plate. It's all going to be caps, so don't worry about it. Identifier and record, and that's how lookup works. Now, let's say you're on a 1011, which is a traffic stop. You're on a 1011, you walk up to the vehicle, and you say, "Howdy, sir. My name is Lieutenant Russell with the California Highway Patrol. Do you know why I'm stopping you?" The suspect says, "Yeah, probably because of reckless speeding." If you say, "Yeah, you were going a little bit fast back there. You were doing 75 and a 55, and that's what your radar caught." If the suspect says, "I don't believe that," okay, you say, "All right, sir, give me 1 second. I will give you." You bring up your CAD. You can hear that thing go off. So you bring up. You say, "Okay, sir, just give me 1 second. Go back to your car, grab a tablet, and show them, sir, this is what I caught the speed at. If you look here, this at the bottom of my screen, this is my dash cam footage from inside the vehicle. If you look at the red letters, this is the speed that you were going, and the orange is the speed limit, okay? The green is my speed, obviously it's 0, and that's your license plate right there, correct?" And they'll say yes. The top one matches the first one, the bottom one matches the second one, okay? And then say, "Okay," he goes, "Okay, I think, all right, I do see I was speeding." And it's okay. Don't always remember you're here to escalate, not escalate a situation, de-escalate a situation. So if they want proof, give them proof. Say, "All right, sir, yeah, this did happen. Here's the evidence. Do you have any questions about it?" All right. Don't think it's an accuse of your power. Don't think it's abuse of your power or anything like that. Remember, you're here to serve the general public. You're not here to accuse them or something. Okay. So from there, you say, "Can I get a name?" "John Doe." So then you'll come back to your computer, run John Doe. Please sit either in the driver's seat. Please sit in the driver's seat, because if they take off, you can be able to drive off. Now you're hearing all these 911 calls. I'll explain where those come in play in a minute. It really does come into play. Next, you have records. You can look up everybody's record. Now, obviously, some of this brings you back to other ones, but new reports. This is where you're more important. You will never have access to this. Don't worry about that. I don't even have access, and I'm a supervisor, so don't even worry about that. My files. This will keep all your records and reports here, and I'll explain how. Searches. If you need to search up someone's name again, it'll bring you right back to lookup. Let's start here. Incident report. It'll fill in all the other stuff for you. It'll do everything else. Let's say we're searching up a civilian. Let's say it was John Doe again, right? John Doe. We look it up. Name comes back. Oh, that's John Doe. It'll fill in all the information for him. It'll even do his former, unknown, height, everything else. It'll do everything as long as it's logged. Was it an officer-involved shooting? Let's say no, it wasn't. Okay, you're still gonna put in the date. So today's date is you click the time. Let's say it was 1:12, right? And you put the date, which was March 19th, right? Officer's name, it'll be Russell S, right? So you're putting that in. And officer's badge number, that's going to be 2 King. That's going to be my number. Your number's different. 2 King. Do you understand anything that's my information? You're putting your information, okay? I don't know why the 2 didn't go in there. 2 King 29. And then just explain. The suspect committed let's go with the A1013, which is shots fired in front of the 24/7 was compliant. Alright, so I can put comply. Alright, and then observing units, anybody else that was there. So let's say you, or you could put you as well, Russell S, and then status, either open, in review, or it's closed. Obviously the record's done, add record. So when you go back to my files, give it a second, it should pop up with a record. Refresh. There it is. Report. Oh, one incident report I've written, and that's going to be this one, okay? And then I'm going to remove the record because I'm not a jerk. It'll also pop up a PDF. Sorry about that. It'll pop up a PDF. Look at that PDF. That's also important as well. New records. New reports. A report is you notice something, you're putting it in. A record is a different story. You're arresting, bolo, warrants, general citations, vehicle citations, fixing tickets, and written warnings. So, there's a verbal warning that you can give them. Is, hey sir, don't do it again. It's not on file, it's no record. There's a written warning where you write out a warning, which I'll explain it. I'll go based off how hard it is. You put here charges, let's say it was aggravated assault, like bond type, immigration bail bond. You can put federal bond, cash bail, secured security bond. You can put it up there. Remember, in the state of California, we do not fine, or in Dillon's RP, we do not fine more than $3,000. So remember that. So change this number to 3,000 if you're really going to charge them with anything. Now, aggravated assault is actually a felony. Please know your counts. Now, if it's on one person, it's one. If it's on 2, 3, 4, you can do that. But remember, the charges cannot be more than 3,000 over whole total. Jail time. Remember, if you're going to give them a jail time, 3 years, whatever you're going to put them as, that's in minutes. Okay. Put a little narrative. Say it's active or closed. The date of what today is. And then the surrounding officers. Any officers that were involved. 2 Kings, 65, Russell B, or whatever. Okay? Vehicle information. Obviously put their vehicle in or grab their license plate. Okay, it's license plate, da 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 da. Put it in. It'll fill it in like that. Okay? Civilian information. Okay, let's get it. John, right? John Doe. Okay? Get John Doe. John Doe was there. Agency information. Already got it all. And it's done. And then flags will pop up here if there's any. Alright, and then add record. And then you're going to notice when I hit this, you're going to see one record pop up, one written warning. You click on it, it's going to show it here. Aggravated assault. Alright, and you can get a PDF. And what the PDF will show is actual PDF of the California Highway Patrol. Please understand when you write these records, be detailed and informative, okay? Fix-it tickets. Let's say there's an issue with a car that you noticed. Give them a fix-it ticket. Charge them this much, and as long as they get it fixed before the 30 days, they won't have to pay the fine, okay? Put an error, let's say left 4-door sedan was missing 2 doors, alright? So you get that. You write it there. Same thing. It literally is all the same thing. Fill in their information. His name is John Doe. Put in the vehicle information. There's the vehicle information. And then go from there. Okay? You can put a bond, fine. You can put bond. You can put charges. And you can go from there. You can add charges like assault or battery or anything like that. But really, you're just going to put a fix-it ticket. It's going to be more of an incident. You're going to find it under I. Incident. You're gonna find it where it's like, you'll find it. It's either that or it's gonna be under like, fix-it ticket, stuff like that. Just put a record on it. Update this, civilian information, stuff like that. If they have an ID or not. Obviously, if they don't have an ID, you need to tow the car. Okay, and write them a ticket for invalid license. If their name does not come back in the system, you take the car, you towed the car, and you give them a ticket for driving without a license. Okay? Or you can arrest them for driving without a license. Alright, when you add the record, it'll add it. Alright, so from here you also have vehicle citations, where you can put citations on vehicles. Same thing applies. I'm not even going to joke, all of it's the same. Vehicle citations, general citations are all the same. What you're going to write them with, what ticket, stuff like that. Warrants. There you go. Same thing. Arrest. If you're making an arrest, remember, armed, violent, mentally. If let's say you arrest them and they're very violent when you arrest them, put all the information and flag them for violent or flag them for armed. Or if let's say he's mentally ill, go ahead and flag him for mentally ill. I recommend if you're going to do anything that's mentally ill, always have the medical psych evaluation come down to the station and notify and see if he is okay. Alright, we don't want to arrest him for something else. Bolos. This is the only one that's different-ish. Okay, so the guy shot, let's say the guy shot at you and is violent. You're going to put your information, you're going to put John Doe again like I did. Alright, and you search up John Doe. Obviously, John Doe's information will go there. The vehicle information, if you got a license plate number, that's all you need. Put the license plate number or the name search of that John Doe. Put it there, and then fines and charges. And then add it. It'll add to a list, which I'll show you, which I'm going to delete this because I don't want this guy to have a record that he didn't have. And that's how those work. I'm just going to show you that's how that works, and this is pretty much it. Your records will always be here if you ever have to answer to court. Now, bolos. His bolo will be added to this list of bolos, multiple bolos, and warrants as well. Warrants will also be added for this arrest. So anybody with these names, we have a warrant for their arrest. Armed, violent, mentally ill. Bolo as well as armed, violent, mentally ill, armed, violent, mentally ill. See what I mean? So you gotta watch that. 10 codes. All your 10 codes. I mean, that's as simple as it's gonna get. I'll explain it. There's a ton of 10 codes here. Please read over them before you get on duty. I would recommend reading some so that you understand them. Penal codes. This is all your penal codes for the state of California. Every single one of them. I'd leave it on 5 and look it up. So like evasion, right? Just look up the simple thing. Evading from police officer. 20 years. Fine. Felony. So when you're writing a arrest report, you don't know if evading's on there. Click over here, type this in. Oh, it's a felony, $1,000, 20-year jail time. Add it to the record. You can go as high or low. Everything's up to officer's discretion. If he was being compliant, most people just add less jail time. Some people add more jail time, stuff like that. Active units. This will tell you what units are online right now. Click status. It'll online, on scene, or available. We already went over that. Active calls. So when a 911 call comes in, it's going to pop up here. So you notice there's 2. There's been 2 so far. Polito Boulevard and Grove Street. 10-13 shots fired. So let's say you want to respond to that. Attach to call. So you'll see now, everything is put in. Shots fired, caller easy, all that. Alright? And you're added. So you're good. So you want to update the call. And let's say there's another issue that comes up. Compliant under arrest. Let's say that you want to update the call. And see your name will pop up here. Okay, call histories. This will tell you all the units that have responded, and that's your call history. And then once you're done with the call, put here, and let's say we're done, we're gonna click close call, and the call is over with. Now I just probably ruined that RP, but at least now you know there's someone attached to calls and going to them. That's the same thing here. You can manually enter it as well, like I'm caller, status pending, priority 2. Block address, postal, put a postal in, call, code. If anything you don't get right here, like a traffic stop, anything you don't get right here, it's right here, postal. Get that in there for sure. Emergency calls, these are all the current 911 emergency calls. You can obviously open them up in the call editor, and look, all the information will pop up there. These are the 911 calls. So here you have the active calls that people are on that are recent, and then these are the emergency calls, 911 calls. Pick one, grab it, go to that call. If it's fine, clear the call. Create call. You want to create one. You got to add in the extra information pending, priority 2. Put all of them in, and then create call, and it'll be added to the active calls. So from here, you also have the last 2 things that are very important, and you can add notes. Might as well add notes like caller did not state, or call was empty, no one was there. Now if you do unself dispatch and there's a dispatcher online, unself dispatch will do all of this. Now that you're online and you're self dispatching, here's where this comes into play. You have the panic button, the signal button. Signal and panic are 2 things that I explained in the last video that are important in this video. When you hit this panic button, every officer online and available will hear it. And what it is I'll play it off so you'll hear it. Ready? It also drops a BK again. Alright, and then you can turn it off. This is saying, hey, 2 King 29's in distress at that location. It'll even say the location, it'll even tell you where it's at. Signal. Now there's those signals I explained. Signal 11, Signal 60, and Signal 100. Signal 100 is the most used here. When you click this, it'll say Signal 100 is in effect. And what'll happen is every officer in the count, everyone will shush. If you look at the last video, it'll explain it. Please watch the last video to hear more about that. And that's pretty much your CAD. Now I'm gonna go over to the dispatching one and show you that this is how your CAD works, fundamentals, and how it works in game. I explained a lot of it in detail. If you have any questions, you can always come up to one of the lieutenants or me, and I'll be more than happy to help. So if we go back to the community and we go to dispatch, it's the same exact thing. I'm not even joking. The only thing different is he gets all the active calls out, he gets all the active calls and all the active units, all the 911 calls, all the unit groups, and I'll explain that if you ever become a dispatcher. And then this is the call editor. Same thing applies. Lookups, the records, everything here still applies. Everything up here still applies. It literally is all they see now is the units. They see all this, they see all this, and they see all that. That's all the difference is. Other than that, it's all the same. All right. So in this video, so far we have explained how to find your ID for your hex so that you can always be located, along with showing you the whole police dispatch and some of the dispatching for CAD for dispatch department. Now we're going to go over the Discord. I'm going to explain the Discord in detail, like as if you've never been in here, and explain it in somewhat of context. Okay, so today let's go over that. So in the California Highway Patrol, you're going to notice you have a lot of things. You're going to have all the villain ones. There's DMZ, there's the villain roleplay, villain logs. Recommend having the logs. It's very important. Please use it. These you'll not have. These are the other departments. You can get them from the villain roleplay. So from here, you're going to notice as soon as you join, these are the following things you're not going to have, and I'm not going to explain. I'm just going to say you won't have these, and that you won't need to be explained these because these are not going to be used unless you join it or become that rank. So command, no, you won't have. FTP stuff, you will have, but only a selection of few, and I'll explain how. You have subdivisions, which all the subdivisions, if you join a subdivision, that's if you join a subdivision, a highway response, these two things. You'll not see this unless you put in a report. I'm going to go over the important part. So here is the important. From the California Highway Patrol, on the side, obviously, it's by rank, division. Now, you're going to notice it's not by rank, lieutenant, and all that. It's by field command, division command. You have your execs, you have your supervisors, your patrol units, your probationaries, and then sponsors and ownerships and other things like that. So when you join the thing, first thing you're going to do is obviously update and get rolled up. So here is the announcements. Everything you need to know about the California Highway Patrol is going to pop up here. So please make sure you listen to it and be updated with these, because as you can tell, there's going to be a meeting soon. Obviously, you're going to want to get prepared for that. Be there, be ready. Important links. In the last video, I explained the CHP SOP, so obviously we got that one covered. There's the official punishment form, officer punishment form. Bad on the wrist. Officer punishment form is basically a place where you can report officers or have a report put. There's the RTO Guidelines, which I'll explain in another video, Trooper Education in another video, CHP IA Complaint Form. If you want to make a complaint against someone or stuff like that, obviously put it there. If you're a civilian, if you're a part of CHP, you can obviously still do the same. I already explained that in the last video. Please watch the last video to understand this one. And then the roster. The roster is the most important one I recommend looking at. I'm going to open it every single time I do this because it's very important. So in here, you'll have all the rosters. You're looking for yellow. You click on yellow at the bottom, scroll to left to right. You're going to see all the ranks, all the commands, anybody who has been trained or is about to be trained, trainings for divisions, stuff like that, members in the department, stuff like that. Your sub-departments, which are all here, your highway response unit, your internal affairs, your state of California game warden division, which is a really nice division, I recommend again. Your traffic, your TEUD, or TUU, which is your traffic enforcement division, that has also the highway speed pursuit units, communications division, which is your dispatching, air operations, and that's pretty much it. Here's the rank requirements again. In the last video, I did explain a lot of these in detail, but here is the SOPs for all of them, and then here is the rank requirements: Trooper plus, Trooper plus, Trooper plus, Corporal, Lieutenant, MT. All right. So please make sure if you are one of these and you want to join that department, go for it. Speak to a member of that department, or speak to a high-ranking member in that department, probably one of the tops of them, and they'll get you set up and get you ready, okay? From here, you got vehicle records. Obviously, do not drive a vehicle that is lower than your record. Always drive a vehicle that is your record. So like probation unit, if I was a master trooper, I can drive these vehicles and my vehicles. But if I'm a lieutenant, I can drive all of these vehicles underneath me. Okay. Remember, also here, no visor lights unless you are a above supervisor in training. If that, they'll allow to drive slick dots. No, it's one or the other, not both. Unmarked is the same way, 3-to-1 ratio when it comes down to marked to unmarked. And then the uniform. I recommend looking at the uniform. Mostly it's control class C. Definitely recommend that. So look at that. I just realized we can drive the blue class B. I didn't know that. So I gotta look at that. Whoopsie. Alright, so from there, that's all the rosters. And then at the very end, I also explained in the video that there's a penal code, which they are really updating. Oh my god, I didn't even see this. And then your 10 codes, which I recommend, and Miranda writes all that. Alright, so back to the Discord. So to the Discord, there's the media uploads if you want to have a media like pictures or stuff like that. Needs support. Click on this if you have any issues. A member of the higher rank department will speak to you. If it's just a simple, can I get access to CAD, or to all the way to, can I have this or that or this. If this ever pops up, which is saying meeting 305, put in here reason why you can't make it or reason you can make it, stuff like that, so that you can be added to the list. Accommodations. Excuse me. Yeah. Accommodations. So in here, these are, I call them, they're called like, they're basically to like give a commendation to someone, so like a good rank, like a name for someone. So you'll put your name, even if you're the lowest ranking officer or a highest ranking officer, you can still put one in here. Let's say your FTO was a great trainer, you can do that. Or let's say your supervisor was a good supervisor on scene, but just make sure it's detailed and explained in very well shaped and form, like here. Detailed, shape, and form. Detail is important. Role request. Alright, let's say you're a part of the California Highway Patrol. You want to make sure they add you to Trooper or LAPD. Obviously, if you have access to this, LAPD, DJ, stuff like that, all that's there. CAD username. In order to get in the CAD, you need to give that information. Remember, give your username to the CAD so that we can recommend you. Don't worry, it'll be approved by one of the higher ups. It'll say done. Okay, make sure you give your username. We're going to go to lounge. This is where the social part of the California Highway Patrol. There's a general. I'm not going to really go over those. Everybody knows that. In real life chat, some people are some food and stuff like that. Suggestions, if you have any suggestions for the California Highway Patrol, put it in there. Number chain, which everyone's screwed up every time. In-game photos, I recommend putting some in there so that you have it. Bot spam, if you want to do truth or dares, stuff like that, that's all there. Memes, all the stuff that's supposed to be like social work. Really, the only thing I'm going to get to is reaction roles. Make sure you fill this out. Friday night movie, CHP events, all that stuff. Just make sure you apply for those. And then there's the off topic and stuff. So, and then there's general public lounge, stuff like that. You won't need to look at command. FTP stuff. So the thing you'll see is right here. Ride along too. When you're doing a ride along, you need to be in one of these, okay? And then you'll be in RTO. The other stuff you'll see is requesting FTO, FTA. When you want training, you need to @ us. You can @ us and put it in there. Now, I don't think you'll see this one. No, you won't. So you'll see the FTO one. And then FTP announcements, you won't see any of this. The only thing you will see is FTP, FTO, FTA, okay? Next thing is you won't see any of that, and then your ticket, if you get a ticket, it'll be down here, okay? Other than that, that's pretty much the dispatch. Pretty much the Discord. The Discord really has a lot of integrations to the TeamSpeak. I recommend in another video I will be explaining how RTO and TeamSpeak work, and explaining how the California Highway Patrol expects your expectations within those things inside the TeamSpeak, and how you're supposed to act in game. Alright, that'll be it for today. I've explained a lot in this video. I'm glad I got to record it and got over a lot of the things that we needed to cover. Now that we've covered a lot of these things, hopefully you'll understand our Discord a little bit better. And remember, anytime you need support, speak to a Corporal Plus and go up the chain of command. Always remember, if you need some support as well, you can put in a ticket or even ask one of your fellow officers. Again, you're brand new to the California Highway Patrol, or you're an old existing member that's just happened to be looking and wanting to know a little bit more. Please, please, please be smart, be educated, and be diligent when you work here at the California Highway Patrol. We want to thank you, and thank you for watching this video. Have a good one.